And it is time for us to go racing in this season finale. The lights are on. When they go out, we go green. For the last time, there's and a huge launch from Popes. And Kuno caught napping just a little bit. That is exactly what Randy needed. He actually has Pilgrim that's going to come up and sort of run a little bit of a defensive line for him. He's got a buffer. But now that big V8 and that Viper starts to come on the pipe. Here we go. Kuno going to try the outside of Pilgrim down into turn one. Rest of the field streaming through. Here we go. Two abreast in turn one. That's difficult. And Kuno still going to try and give it a go. Back on board with William Ziegler in his Porsche. And Rob Morgan, a big spin, but it looks like he cleared it and nobody getting into him. Everybody held up a bit, but nobody tagged him. What a break there, Tom.
Rob Morgan's got dirt all over his tires now. It's going to be a little while for him to come up to speed. As you can see there, not really any help, just overcooked it into the turn after Sunset Bend, and that's caught out a lot of drivers over the years. Here's a look from Robert Prilica's car. You can see Prilica, a bit of keen driving there to go around on the driver's left and miss that whole incident.
Now let's take a look at the GTS story here in this start on this one, and watch this start. Petey Cunningham, the pole sitter, and Tom, watch along the right side here.
Winkler, the number 27 car, goes by, and then here comes the Mustang parade. You know, sometimes there's no substitute for torque.
They call that WUMA in some sports. There goes the Cayman S of Jakubowski. Petey just got hammered on board now with Winkler, and just watch this launch here. That's Petey.
Yeah, that just doesn't happen very often, as you just don't pull out and pass him. Now we see George Winkler getting all crossed up in Sunset Bend. From Crosland's point of view, he'll take over point.
Up front, though, it remains Popes. There is Kuno Whitmer, and then right behind him is Andy Pilgrim. Randy Popes, just an amazing season he has put together, with the competition behind him right now pretty intense. And Andy Pilgrim is really coming on and locking up right up behind Kuno Whitmer right there, and that is what Randy wants to see, is a little bit of pressure from behind him here at this point. Hop on board with Randy as he's working some of these very trick corners. The Attitudes, one of the great sequences of corners here in North America. Great battle unfolding right here in the touring car division. Absolute great race. And for Robert Stout, the news just got better. After post-race tech at round 11 at VIR, he found an amazing season already improved. And earlier, Tom caught up with him.
We came out of VIR racing, having a real hard battle with Todd Perez. Awesome fight. He's a great guy, but apparently he had some troubles with going through tech on Sunday, so bumping me up to the leading position. So I was now notified that I have 4 wins in the World Challenge Series, which is just, you know, it just takes the cake after winning the championship. It was a fantastic weekend, and I'm coming out here to have some fun.
And the amazing thing is this was supposed to be a weekend where he was going to take it easy. He already had the championship clinch, not damage the car. Look at that pass, or the driver's side mirror, and he's leading, Tom.
Well, you remember when he had the left side tires in the dirt there, he knocked off that mirror to start off with. But as Enzo Ferrari has said, what is behind you is of no consequence anyway. Let's go back to our front runners now as they begin to approach touring car traffic.
Absolutely. There's Randy Popes. Right behind him is Kuno Whitmer, and you can see Whitmer is closing in. Some of it's traffic, to be sure, and this is a golden opportunity, because the one thing that is your best friend when you get in traffic and lose momentum is torque, and a V10 in that Viper's got it.
Oh, absolutely. Over the 2.5 liter 5-cylinder turbocharged engine, this is going to be a good match. Now some side-by-side racing. Kuno's got the headlights on.
And he's down and he's through, and of course there's Stout. He's got to get by Stout without contact. Randy tucks in, but Kuno has made it. Now, is Randy able to take any kind of a countermeasure run? Not enough. And Kuno Whitmer, talk about reading and then using traffic perfectly.
You know, Kuno Whitmer has come so far in this Dodge Viper after doing touring car, and before that being an open wheel driver. Bob Woodhouse has put all his faith in this driver. So has Dodge Motorsports, and at the end of the season, even though he hasn't won it, he's certainly shown that he's come a long, long way.
Meanwhile, there is young Ben Crosland leading. You know, for a high schooler to lead a race, that's probably one of his fantasies, Tom. And here's what happened to Kyle Kelly, folks. It was a big moment. Thomas is on lap 5.
So there's a 79 car being pestered by that number 43 car. And that's the first time I've ever seen the Acura TSX get wide, but moved over on him. And of course, there's trouble with the car. It looks like a tire's going down there, Greg.
Well, must have got cut in that contact, and either cut or just ripped the valve stem right off. No, it dinged that right rear wheel up pretty bad, lost all of the inflation no matter how good a tire is, and Toyos are great. You can't hold air when you don't have a rim around it.
Well, that's true, and what they say about any action has an equal and opposite reaction. You got to wonder what kind of shape that TSX wheel's in as they get that wheel-to-wheel contact.
Meanwhile, there's Stout and Taylor Hackard. That's Hackard in that blue and white Mazda, and he is down the inside, and again playing traffic. That time Stout got caught out, and Hackard down and underneath and picks that up. These two have been in a great battle this race. Again, Hackard, his first ever World Challenge start here, puts it on pole. Stout already a champion as a rookie, and these two rookies going at it here. This is great stuff.
Look at that onboard footage of the number 18 car. There it is. There's Robert Stout. Look how calm he is, and look how close he is to Taylor Hackard. I mean, this is a kid who's only 18 years old, but this is what, his 260th or 270th race start, if you take into account all of his karting.
There is Petey Cunningham in that Acura, and give you an idea of how hard Petey is driving, trying to get around young Ben Crosland, and Petey just threw it in there, Tom, let it hook up, and still made the pass.
You know, you're talking about probably the most experienced, the winningest driver in North America, and a kid who's just coming up. Crosland must have been amazed at that.
Unbelievable. And for Stout, you see that passenger side mirror just a flailing away. He doesn't care. And meanwhile, there is Kuno Whitmer, and you'll notice it's a Volvo behind him, but it's a different one. Andy Pilgrim is all over the back of him at this point. Kuno doing a brilliant job. This is a special opportunity for Kuno, and Pilgrim doing everything he can like this, making the look, taking the look to see if he can get by. Not going to happen here. It tucks right back in behind Kuno, but Kuno, with Andy Pilgrim, a veteran like that on your tail, you had better hit every mark, every turn in and apex and track out perfectly. Well, folks, we're down to the last couple of laps of the 2010 season. It's the Toyo Tires Utah Grand Prix presented by Bob Bondurant School of High Performance Driving. What an engrossing year it has been, and it is about to wrap up. It is Petey Cunningham leading in the GTS category as he is coming up, working through some traffic at this point. An amazing season for this man, record-setting in so many ways, Tom.
Well, you know, what foreshadows for next year is the more important thing. You see these Mustangs coming in. There'll be a large contingent of those cars next year. Corvette's obviously doing very well, and I love this Mazda ladder racing program where you start to see cars like Taylor Hackard's car coming in with those turbocharged 3s. Magnificent stuff. There's Robert Stout. He's had a fantastic year as well, Greg.
Oh, it's just been phenomenal. One thing, you talk about the GTS category. It's his first ever year in existence, and at the season finale, 14 cars.
Yeah, not bad.
Phenomenal. And for Robert Stout, just the year that he and this team have put together. As I said, Cyan clinching the Manufacturers Championship, the first ever for a Toyota brand, and with help from TRD, very special there. In the 20 years now of World Challenge competition, that happens. The youngest ever champion. He became the youngest ever race winner World Challenge at Long Beach, and then backs it up with an amazing season. This kid's got a future.
My favorite Robert Stout moment is when we were at Watkins Glen. He wasn't old enough to spray the champagne. His dad, Ken, came up on the podium and sprayed the champagne. It's been a fantastic year for those two co-owners of that car, and look at all the stickers on that car. They've gotten a lot of help over the years.
They certainly have, and Kuno Whitmer praying for some help as he's got nothing but blue and yellow in his mirrors. White flag, last lap, and again, you see Pilgrim moving over, one to get a little bit of air into the radiators and the ducts, but two to just try and get into Kuno's head, and that's one of the things we have to talk about. We're at elevation here, and that changes the dynamics of these cars and the cooling quite a bit.
It certainly does, and you got to be cognizant of that, but I love the way Andy Pilgrim's giving him a little halfback head fake every now and again, just to see if he can take him off his game.
As I said, Kuno, it's got to be just immense focus, but I'll tell you what, this guy's capable of that. He has, you talked about it, his evolution from World Challenge in the touring cars up to this level, and he has been absolutely spectacular. One of the few guys with some experience here. As a matter of fact, he had a great run here in 2008 in the touring cars with a run to third.
Yeah, he did that, and not a bad open wheel driver before that with Formula Fords all the way through Formula Atlanta. Kuno Whitmer, now a Dodge factory driver. It doesn't get much better than that.
Nope, and when you're able to fend off, at least thus far, a guy like Andy Pilgrim, a former champion in 2005, one of the most experienced pilots on the planet, one of the absolute best, you're doing something right. And you know what? Up in front, we've just seen a couple glimpses up in front of these two, Tony Gaples in that Kleinschmidt Black Dog Speed Shop Corvette. Tony has been one of the best racers in this series, but has had problems with qualifying, but ends up with these great drives in the race. This was his second straight top 5 qualifying ever. I think he's found that pace to go with that racecraft. It's been a good year for Tony as well. I wanted to give him some well-due props.
Well, not only that, the Black Dog Racing team's doing a great job with that car as well, trying to figure out how to unlock this lock that has been about Vipers and Volvos. The Corvettes are coming on strong.
All right, folks, last 3 turns of the 2010 season for World Challenge. And can Andy Pilgrim do it? Can Kuno hang on? Kuno using that banking, winding up that big V10. Andy trying to spool up the turbo. Here we go. Down the front straight. And it's Whitmer brings it home. Second win of the season to go with his win in Long Beach. Pilgrim a very close-fought second. And here comes your champion in the touring car division. 18 years old. Last couple of corners. He's going to savor these as this is the last 2 turns of a championship season as a rookie of the year. Just an amazing season. Manufacturer championship. And I think this will give the team championship. Doesn't get much better than that. Robert Stout, what a year.
Among others, Don Gardner from the DG Spec organization celebrating along pit wall. And who can say enough about Peter Cunningham? He's used World Challenge in a brand new category this year to stand on center stage again and break more records, Greg.
His 195th start off a 42nd pole, that's a record. And that, which was his 10th pole in the season, that's a record. His 40th win, that's a record. Just an amazing year. And a 6th World Challenge Championship, that too is a record. And for Kuno Whitmer, he hangs on and gets his 2nd win of the year. Very, very impressive drive. Here we go. Whitmer, Pilgrim, Pokes, Courtney, and Safronis not able to get up through the pack and challenge Whitmer. So Whitmer will be 2nd in the championship. And then we're going to go back and take a look. There you see 13th overall. Petey Cunningham brings home another win. And then Ben Crosland and George Winkler with Isayan and Ole Thordarson completing the top 5. And then Stout, defending champion Pierre Kleinubing in his first start, 2nd, not a surprise. Eric Meyer, Tom Lepper, and Brandon Peterson, your top 5 in the touring car class. And Rom Holland had a little bit of an issue in that one. Let's take a look at our game streamer replay of the race, and it's nuts. Donuts. Kuno Whitmer celebrating not just the win, but he also got another award, and it was the MTM SpecialOpsWatch.com Best Move of the Race, using traffic. Rob Stout as a pick and getting into the lead. And now he's made his way to Victory Circle and Tom Natcher.
Wow, Kuno Whitmer, what a race.
Wow, just wow. This Dodge Motorsports Viper, prepared by Woodhouse, is just outstanding today, just outstanding. It was hot out there. Andy's one heck of a driver. He was just keeping the pressure on me. He was keeping me grounded. He was keeping me real. And these fans right here, hats off to them. They kept me going.